All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Now it's time to get started with our analysis of all the majors. So we're going to start, obviously, with the euro dollar. Let's go there. Like I said, I got out of my my long overnight. I bought it yesterday at 111.80 something. I got out at 112.15. I'm already out. Okay. I literally, if you guys were around on lunch money yesterday, I bought it there, got out overnight right where we're at pretty much, and that's it. Now, the good news is this stuck, and what that means is this is vitally important to prices. That would be what we know as the bull bear line in the sand. Okay, 111.70 means as long as we're above that, you're bullish. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you necessarily want to be bullish if we get all the way up here, but I'm just saying anywhere, any dip towards that, you probably want to be a buyer like this. Okay, below there, gets ugly. Okay, bull bear line, simple, right? Okay, so support 111.70. Easy peasy. 111.70. Resistance. $112.44, or we'll call it 112.50, because that'll be by the time we get up there, it'll be 112.50. 786 is, or 618 is 124, or 144, so 112.50 is resistance. Bias, range. Okay, simple, easy, concise. Nothing too crazy at the moment. I personally, I'm just going to tell you right now, I would be very happy if this happens. Because I'd like to short the euro up there. Okay? Personally, that's what I'd like to see. Shorting it up at 113. I don't know if that's going to happen. It could, though. Why do you think that could happen? Well, I think the dollar yen can come under pressure. And if the dollar yen comes under pressure, the dollar will come under pressure in general. And so if that happens, the euro will probably follow suit like that. Okay? All right. But there's a lot of work to get up there. I mean, we have to surpass 112.50 first, and then if we break above that, then that exposes 112.85, 113. Let's go to the cable. So the pound is still just so weak. I mean, it really is. I mean, look at it. It is just so weak right now. You know, it's just really struggling to get higher. And let's remove this really quick. I don't think we need that at the moment. Okay. But we're stalling. This is the longer term view, and this is why I think the cable's just, it's a train wreck waiting to happen. Let's get rid of this. Sell off from here. Okay, the sell off from here, we can't even yield a 24% retracement. Okay, any move that we're seeing right now up to 152.50 is being sold, right? Considering the fact that it can't even make a 24% retracement is just bearish, and or it can only muster up a 24% retracement is bearish in its own right. I mean, that to me tells me that the cables got further to go. And you may say, well, Blake, I don't want to trade the pound dollar to the short side. I just don't believe in the dollar. Fine, buy the euro pound. I mean, if you ask me, this euro pound looks like it's going to 75.50 pence right up here. You know what I mean? This euro pound still looks like it's got further to go. Okay. And until that happens, I don't think I'm going to be able to trade the pound on the long side. Pound dollar, it's weak. Then you got the pound Canadian that's got, another 800 pip fall for it to complete its pattern. You got pound New Zealand that looks like poop on a stick. You got everything looks horrible. So anyway, here's the cable. Can't muster a rally. So where would I be a seller today? Well, yeah, I said it. Poop on a stick. Any rally up to 152 today, I'm gonna sell. Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put an order to short the cable at 152. Done. Orders in. So, because I might forget about it. Resistance 152. Is a 618 retracement. It's a range, but man, we're at the very bottom of our range, and we're threatening to go lower. I mean, this is bearish. I mean, look, you look. I mean, look how sell off, no recovery. If we have another sell off, it's going to be ugly, in my opinion. Okay. Damn, I got out of the euro way too early, but not the Canadian. That's right. Okay. All right. So where is support here? I mean, support basically is at 151.35. Then below that is, 151. But for right now, 151.35. All right, let's go to the Swissy. So, the Swissy came right up to our resistance. What was the resistance? Did anybody have the resistance that we wrote down yesterday for the Swissy? What was the resistance we wrote down for the Swissy yesterday? 97.60. The high was 97.65 yesterday. Okay, so that and we kind of drew this out. I mean, you can see now how significant that is. We got this downtrend line coming into play now. 97.60 is pretty important, even slightly above it, but we'll just write that down again. Thanks. Eric even gave me a golf clap. I have to do a golf clap, and whenever I give you guys golf claps, I have to do it because it's 4 o'clock in the morning and everybody's sleeping. All right, support. Because you know why that's resistance. I don't have to keep that fib level there. This is a tight range, so I don't want. It's kind of messy right now. Look at this hourly. Yeah, I don't know. You can almost say that it's trying to turn lower here. I'm sure it is. As the euro. I mean, the euros. I mean, look how nice of a bounce the euro's getting right now. Damn, I got out of that thing too early. Uh-huh. Hmm. I mean, look at how small the pullback has been. Even with the euro rallying, this Swissy doesn't want to go down. You know, 38% retracements at 97.20, and that I don't. I guess you'd have to be happy if we get down to 96.90 and you can get on the long side because we've been writing down 97 cents as support, right? So I know we've been writing down 97 cents as support. We could probably write down this 96.90 because if we can get down here, this would be a great area to be on the long side, right there. All right. So I'm gonna write down 96.90. All right. Let's go over to the dollar yen. Now I'm gonna give Polly some kudos here. Yesterday, Polly, we were sitting right here. We were like right here, and Polly goes, "Man, I think the dollar yen's going to break out above this resistance, trade to 120.40, 120.50, and turn." That's what he said yesterday. He was spot on. Boom, boom, boom. He got short, and then he already took his profits. It was just a small scalp trade, but it was a really good call. With Paulie said that yesterday. I don't know if he said it on Twitter, but I know he said it in the chat room. So good on Paulie. Now, let's stop here for a second. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. I need to see something. Let me remove that. Let's remove that. Okay, so we were talking earlier about if the Bank of Japan does quantitative easing, like let's say they do it overnight and the yen weakens. Okay, let's just say that's the case. If that happens, I'm a seller back up here. So if that happens, we do this. I'm selling or buying yen. Let's put it that way. Okay. If that happens, just so you all know. Personally, I don't think they will, but it's all these analysts thinking they're going to, but the BOJ already said they're not going to. Anyway, with the BOJ looming tonight, you may want to just stay away from the yen pairs. You know what I mean? For now. Okay, for today, I assume any rally back up to 120.70 is going to be problematic. Um, and then obviously 120. I mean, this is a lot of support just around the round number. You can see it through here. Right through here. Real big support. It is a round number. People are trying to buy it ahead of it. So I think 120.70 and 120. It's a messy chart right now. All right, let's go over to the Canadian. Now, the Canadian, we have IVPMI today. I got on my dollar Canadian at 131.10. just a little while ago when we spiked up here. If you ask me, the Canadian looks pretty weak. I mean, we have mustered a bounce at the monthly breakout point, which was that's the dotted line right here from 2009, right? We managed to get a bounce from there. So I wasn't too worried about being on the long side, but this bounce has been very kind of like the pound. It's been very modest. There hasn't been a whole lot to it. Um, right now, this seems to be really good resistance right through here. 131.25. Now, if we can break that, the move will take us up to 131.75, which is that previous support. Okay, that those two levels seem logical. So resistance 131.25, 131.75. Okay. And support obviously is going to be 130.65. That's key because if that breaks, it's going to get ugly. 30.65. If that breaks and you're bearish the Canadian currency, be very careful, okay? Because if that breaks, we're probably going sub 130, probably back down towards like this 128, 129 level. Like my assumption would be we come back down here, then bounce, okay? So just be really careful if we break through this 130.65. Let's go over to the Kiwi. Okay, so here's the Kiwi dollar. The Kiwi made a bit of a recovery. We stalled again. Just so you guys know why I'm short the Kiwi from yesterday. The 618 retracement comes in at yesterday's highs. Now notice I surpassed that spike low on the Kiwi. That's because that was during that really aggressive fall, and I'm not including that as of now, right? But we stalled right at the 618. Also, there's 127% extension. Okay, so as long as it's below 63.50, I'm fine with being on the short side. 0.6350, or wait, 6530. Sorry, dyslexic. 6530. That's key resistance. Now support is going to be back down here at 6450. If you guys don't recall, it's a little breakout point there. 64.55. That'll be support. We are in a range. Oops. Let's go into the Aussie. So the Aussie, in case you missed it earlier this morning, so the Aussie, it's double bottom. Remember, we've had that drawn out for a few days now. Double bottom. Played out, and I think that move right there qualifies. Okay. That doesn't mean we can't go higher. I think any move up to 71.50, which is the 618, is going to be very tough for the Aussie dollar today. So I will write down 71.50. I just want you to be aware that the double bottom completion has happened. So 71.50 is now resistance. And I think it'll be key resistance, regardless of the RBA. Okay, the RBA stayed on hold. They didn't. It's not like they raised rates or they're preparing the market for raising rates. They're just going to wait and see, and they're going to keep rates low for the foreseeable future, and they're going to let monetary policy work through prices. For now. And that was less dovish than the market expected. It's called hawkish if you want, but it was just less dovish. Okay? All right. Support for the Aussie. Personally, I think any move back down here is going to be bought. So if we can get a dip down to like 71.50 to this area, I'd be a buyer over here. 70.50. And we are in a range. All right, guys, when we come back, we will do the dollar index. We'll look at the peso, Norwegian krona, and Swedish krona. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a few short minutes. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. Okay, so we're going to finish up with the dollar index. Let's take a look at that. And here's the dollar index, and I'm going to go out to the daily chart. And matter of fact, we can go out to the 4-hour. We can kind of see what we're doing here. And the interesting thing about the dollar index, you can actually do this, and we can totally see where our resistance is. I mean, the dollar index really would have to scale above 96.25, and then the low end is 95.20, and we wrote that down yesterday, and I don't think anything's changed. So let's go ahead and write down those numbers. Support 95.20, resistance 96.25, and we're in a range. Okay, but the dollar index, I mean, if you look at it, whoops, sorry. If you look at the dollar index, I mean, if we start popping through these highs, I mean, that'd be pretty bullish for the dollar index. I mean, you look at that, and we could extend ourselves out to 97. Now, what that would mean and what that would translate to in the euro dollar. So basically, the euro dollar, if the euro slipped through this 111.70, it's only 50 pips away from here. If we slip through that 111.70, then that's going to expose us for a move back down to 110.90. And that would be the same thing as the dollar index here, breaking out here and then moving back up to here. Okay, so don't dismiss the dollar. I mean, the dollar it's pretty well bid, especially following the non-farm payrolls on Friday. I mean, the dollar's really come roaring back. Okay, all right. Let's take a real quick look at the peso real fast, and then I'm gonna take your questions. We'll just look at these really quickly, see if there's anything set up. So here's the U.S. dollar Mexican peso, and how many of you, how many of you, yes or no, how many of you trade the peso? Y or N is fine. Yes or no? Anybody trade the peso? Lyle does. Cliff doesn't. Whit does. Jonathan doesn't. Amanda doesn't. Tom doesn't. Rick says just went in Cabo. uh, no, Larry doesn't. Lynn does. John does. Okay, so a few of you do. A lot of you don't. But this is one of those currencies. If I had the ability to trade, I would. I think it's a fun trading currency. It's pretty. I say fun trading currency, fun analyzing currency. I think it's easy to analyze. I think it's pretty uh, easy to read, and especially with risk appetite and risk aversion. So if you're looking at the U.S. dollar Mexican peso here, what would make it rally? Okay, what would make it like you know uh, rally from where we currently sit would be which would be a some risk aversion. So if the stock market started to come down, the peso would do this. Okay. Now, this is a 38% retracement of the move down. Comes in right here. If 1687, if this gets taken out, you might want to consider getting on the long side. Now that would have to coincide with the stock market. Like I said, the stock market would have to be falling in order to do that, but that's not a bad look. Resistance 16A7. Support is obviously 1659. That's support. Probably 786 of this move too. Betcha. It is. That's important support. 1659. We're bullish, but it looks like it's settling into a range as well. Um, let's go to. Let's just take a look at the Nordic currencies. U.S. dollar, Norwegian krona. Okay, hold on really quick. This thing is still bullish. Yeah, I mean, I know we got a little bit of a false breakout, but 50% is holding. I still think the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona looks bullish. And look at it. Yeah, we had some divergent relative strength here, you know, but overall, I mean, this currency pair is still it's trending higher, you know. Stand by. Sorry, I had to adjust something really quick. I adjusted my limit on my Kiwi short to 64.50, FYI, to just to take profit. That's it. All right, going back to the Norwegian krona. I know it's got this false breakout here, and divergent relative strength on the weekly charts, but still, like I said, it's still trending higher. I think you should keep on. I don't think it looks anything looks. I don't think it looks great right now at this very moment. U.S. dollar, Swedish krona, 50% retracement, held it. We're coming back down. I would be more interested in buying that. If I traded it, I'd be more interested in buying it near support if you can get it. Okay, let's go. Let's go into your questions because here's your bias chart. It is done. Okay, so